we were looking for a name, and they're hard to get, they're hard to think up, and I thought of Buellton. And knowing that it was a local name, we didn't know if the locals were going to dig it, but we thought people out of the area would think it's kind of cool.
Boston did it, Chicago did it, Kansas, Moab, early March, a lot of
Asia.
Asia.
You're now continents. I mean, you can go, yeah. Japan, that's a band.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So we went with Buellton.
The origins of the band, basically, I became smitten with a record that John was a major part of it, and I called him out of the blue. I mean, we didn't really know each other. We had a friend in common, and I asked him, come to Santa Barbara, let's make a record. Yeah, let's do that, which we started making some music together. It clicked, and we ended up making a record, Avenue of the Flags, put that out in 2001.
Avenue of the Flags was met with, for a little Santa Barbara band, some critical press, and we toured a little bit. And
Good critical.
Yeah, good critical, not bad critical. And I just kind of stopped writing songs. So that's 2003. But so the band fizzled at that point, and it was amicable, and everybody went their own way.
John and I did get back together and started producing Silent Partner.
So in 2009, April, we were about halfway done with recording tracks for the record. And I came home from a practice one night, and my wife found a lump in her breast, and she ended up having cancer, and I knew we found out she was gonna have to go through chemo and radiation. And so I knew that, and I had a 2-year-old at the time, and so we just, I knew that I was out for at least a year, and we started recording again in 2010. So.
And she was at the show last week, and
yeah,
she's doing great.
Yeah.
When it came time to put the record out and start looking at how we're going to get it out there, we'd been working on this record for a long time, a number of years. Each of us had
started other projects,
families. There's other bands we've been in that are going concurrently with this, and a couple players in Buellton didn't want to keep going, and so at that point John and I were wanting to get this record out there, and we got in touch with Graham, we got in touch with Kurt, and they fit right in.
So Kurt used to play in this, I mean, we're going back 10 years, playing this band called Supersonics, and I used to see his band play, and I thought, oh, that's a really talented, kind of artistic guitarist.
I had a little bit of part in the Buena Pasta history.
Buena Pasta was the name of the studio on Haley that we had for 10 years.
Right, 2 blocks that way. So, buddy of mine, Dane, and I were in a surf rock band, local surf rock band. He was good buddies with Tad, who was in Buellton. So we were all excited to go to this hot studio with these local guys that we kind of knew, kind of didn't. So we kind of were, ships passing in the night that way, and saw their equipment, listened to some pieces of their music, enjoyed that. But it wasn't to be until years later that we actually kind of...
Probably 10 years later.
10 years later, started playing music together, so...
And Graham, I've known, makes wine. What's the name of your wine, Graham?
It's Forsando wine. I knew he was a musician, and he knew I was a musician, but I wasn't really familiar with his band. And, fast forward 8 years later, and we were running into each other at various breweries, coincidentally. And he said, hey, I made a new record, and I'm looking for a bass player. I said, yeah, I'll check out the record. And immediately loved it, thought it was great stuff, and was eager to jump in there. So it was a pretty quick fit.
So we had this idea to release the record on a bottle of Telegraph beer. One of the things that we had to think about was how to put a download code on the label that someone couldn't take a picture of and then go download the record. we ended up coming up with the idea to put it, this is called a cork and cage here, and so we put the download code in between the cork and the cage. There's instructions here, how to download the record, and yeah, this is our record.
And Kurt, I'd like to add,
Yeah.
had a big hand in helping create the label itself and some of the art there.
And Jeff Peters
Yeah.
is credited for the label image there.
Yeah.
Los Angeles area painter.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna try to. The beer has been pushed out, and it's going to be distributed in 7 or 8 states, and we're going to try to tour the record a little bit in those particular markets, mainly California, and yeah, just push it as far as we can.